Today's guest is an elementary school teacher turned actor. He's taught in the UK and in Mexico, and you can see him on screen most recently in Latebloomer, which you can watch on Crave. And when he's not on screen, you can see him on stage all over Toronto as he's performing stand-up comedy. Please welcome the talented, hilarious Jabar Bains.
Woo! Woo! Crowd goes wild.
Right?
And now time for the most boringest conversation ever.
No, it's gonna be great.
Just kidding. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, well, welcome. Thank you for being on my podcast. I appreciate it.
Great intro. Very nice.
Thank you so much. I
it's off the cuff.
Stole it from your.
It's off the cuff.
It's like, it's a great bio you sent me.
Natural.
Absolutely. So I like to start at when you wanted to be an actor. Did it come, did you go to be a teacher and then discovered acting, or did you always want to be an actor?
Growing up, I didn't even have a voice.
Okay.
I was just like classic middle child syndrome, so I just kind of just played sports all day, every day.
Nice.
Because I guess that's kind of how I really found my belonging in community, And like being in an immigrant household, Indian immigrant parents, we had like 3 families living together. So just go with the flow at all times.
Right.
So I'm like, I don't got a voice. So let me just go with the flow. And then it was only till I started teaching in England and then Mexico, I started realizing, I'm like, yo, what do I even like to do? I'm alone now for the first time in my life. What do I even like to do? And I didn't even know what I like to do. So I got this weird anxiety thing. And I'm like, all right, I don't know what to do. Okay, I don't know anybody here. They don't even speak English once I leave the school in Mexico. So then I just got some library books and I started reading a little bit, but then I made friends and everything went well after. But what I learned to do was I just learned that I got to grow into myself with being overseas for a while.
Nice.
And then with acting, I remember distinctly being in grade 6 teaching Cancun and asking the students, I'm like, what do you want to be when you grow up? They're like, photographer, soccer player, astronaut, all this cool stuff. I'm like, go for it, follow your dreams. And they're like, Mr. Jabar, they use first name there. Mr. Jabar, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I was 27 at the time. I'm like, oh snap, I'm not finished growing up. What do I want to be when I grow up? I'm not just a teacher my whole life.
Yeah.
So then I had like an epiphany and I'm like, I was watching Netflix. I'm like, I want to do that.
Amazing.
And then I'm like, I'm going to be an actor. So I finished off the year in 2019 teaching. And then I moved back to Canada. I landed on a Friday, straight into acting class on Monday for like 6 months straight. Then got an agent. And then COVID hit.
Damn.
And then COVID hit. And then,
excellent timing.
Yeah, I booked my first commercial and then COVID canceled it.
No.
It was for O. Henry. It was like, and like, it was funny because
it's heartbreaking.
It's funny because the first commercial is always special to you.
Yeah.
You're like, you want me?
Yeah.
You want to hire me out of everybody? And it was like, O. Henry buzz, you have to act high for it or something. So I made like a really weird self-tape and it worked out. And yeah, so then I'm like, I can do this. I started taking classes and it's funny because we probably feel a lot of imposter syndrome and stuff, but I don't feel that.
Oh yeah?
I feel more like, if he can do it, why can't I?
Nice.
I'm more like...
That's a good attitude.
Yeah, I'm more like, if I don't know it, I'll learn it. Because in life, we never have the same experience twice. So you have to everyone starts from the same place, but we start at different times, right?
Nice.
So yeah, then here I am and I'm like, what's the worst that could happen? Someone says no.
That's amazing. That's such a good mentality to have. Keep that. Damn.
Yeah. Everyone feels it, but then, and then if I ever feel like nervous, I just say I'm feeling excited. Because it's the same feeling, it's just like the feeling.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited for this. I'm so excited. And you go on stage. Yeah.
I saw a quote recently that was like, when you're nervous, it's not because you're like reaching the limit of your capabilities, it's because it's unfamiliar, not that you're unqualified. And I was like, oh, that's so good. That's so good. I like that.
And it's always whatever we kind of give so much importance to, it becomes so important to us that we may get nervous, but it's only once you give it that F it mentality, like F it, whatever. Like when you audition as well too, right? So when you're auditioning for something, if me and you put the audition on a pedestal, then it becomes so out of reach. But we're like, that audition was never ours to begin with, that job. So either we just do our best, we get it, or no, we go back to where we started. Some people I know in LA and stuff, they're just really big and then they won't get it. And then they'll see that TV show online and they'll see, hey, that was supposed to be me. And they go into like depression sometimes. And like days go by, they don't get out of bed. Of course, me and you were both one audition away from a whole different life, If we book something big and relaunch our careers. But I feel like everything happens at the right time for you. It's not like, my time was a year and a half ago. It's like, no, your time's gonna be when it's your time. Because you need that life experience. And I realize with acting especially, it's the more life experience you have, the more knowledge you have, the more you can play something out. Like imagine a guy 12 years old asking to be playing a divorced father.
Yeah.
Unless they have a really good creativity and their dad's going through a divorce at home. I don't know where they're going to pull from that, right? So,
yeah.
So I've learned to make peace with time, which is something I was trouble with at first.
Nice.
You know?
That's amazing.
So we all wish we started earlier.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I wish I knew this earlier.
Yeah.
Wish I started this earlier.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah.
When it's like, nope. Perfect timing.
Yeah. I was talking to Pat Thornton. He in a sketch comedy writing class. He's really great. And he said that whatever you get in this comedy and acting world, you're gonna feel that you should have got it a year and a half ago. He's like, no matter what, just remember that.
Yeah.
It's like you're gonna just feel like you deserved it a year and a half ago. So just enjoy it. Yeah.
Literally. Yeah. All the time. Yeah, it doesn't matter when you start.
Yeah,
it really doesn't matter.
And then I talked to Gilson, another comedian, big name, and he told me, he's like, whatever you want to do, give yourself more time than you think you need to get it. That way you can gracefully go for it. Because he's like, in a year I want a development deal. He's like, what if I said in 2 years? This way I could have gracefully got there, and when it did come, I would have been good, you know? And he's like, because the mountain never ends. It's just this, and then what's next, you know?
It's a new peak.
Yeah, our potential is limitless, right? So it's like, once when we start acting, we're like, oh, I just want to do auditions. I just want to do auditions.
Yeah.
Then you start doing auditions. Okay, I just want to book a small little thing, you know?
And then it's like, I want to book like a couple lines. Okay, now I want to be a guest star. Okay, now I want to be a supporting. Now I want to be a lead. So yeah, you're right.
It's like, oh, okay, now I want this now. Yeah. It's funny how the brain works.
Right? I know. And it's kind of comforting too, because I find in my head where I'm like, what if like I achieve this goal and then I'm not happy there or whatever. It's like, well, your goals continue, like your dreams continue to grow and your goals change as life goes on. So like all the dreams that you have now is not all the dreams that you're going to have for the rest of your life. They're going to change, they're going to shift, and they're going to get bigger and stuff. So it's just kind of nice and comforting that like it changes and you grow as time goes on. Yeah,
and like our dreams back then were so much more basic than what we dream about now.
Yeah,
you know, oh, I just want a job, then I can hang out with my homies after, and by 3 p.m. we'll be hanging out if I'm teaching, and then now I'm like, that's my biggest fear. Just not that dream is not what I want anymore. So it's fun. I guess taking time to get to know yourself.
Nice.
Growing up, that's one thing I wish I took more to do. I just went with the flow.
Right.
But I wish I did like maybe read more books and ask myself what do I like to do and stuff. That would have been one thing I would have changed from the past.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And so do you still teach?
Yeah.
Yeah? Nice. Are you do like regular
Yeah, I'm
classes?
a homeroom teacher. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I have a grade 5-6 class this year.
Wicked.
So they're like 11 years old.
Nice.
And it's cool because it gives you a lot of comedy material. And it's cool because you're constantly being around people and it gives you that comedy skill of being able to understand the room. Read the energy, read the crowd, see what works, what doesn't work, because you're constantly interacting. I find it hard when some of these comedians that work behind a desk maybe all day, and then they have to just explode, go from 0 to 100.
Yeah.
Because imagine like not talking to someone all day, and then all of a sudden just go 100 on the stage and crush it, which people do a great job.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm lucky in a sense where I'm able to constantly interact and catch a joke and know what the slang words are now, and these weird slang words out now. I don't know where they come from.
I know.
Yeah.
Who makes them up?
But when we were younger, they were weird too, but those are our words, you know? Those are our slang words.
Exactly.
Like I taught my students recently, I'm like, like back in the days, if someone was rude or mean, you say, that's arms. I don't know if you heard that one. It's like, that's arms. And then someone's really rude. It's like, that's arms and legs.
No way.
That was the Rexdale slang word we had growing up.
That's hilarious.
So I taught them that. And they're like, yeah, Mr. Bains, you're being arms right now. You're being arms.
Funny.
So I'm trying to bring back old slang.
That's
old slang, come back, bring it back, arms. 2024.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
And one day you're young with the slang, and then one day you're old teaching young people slang.
I remember I asked my students, I told my students, oh, hey guys, I missed you over the break. One kid like, stop the cap.
Stop the cap.
I'm like, what does that even mean? What is the cap? And then I figured it out.
That's hilarious. That's so funny. So when you came back and you started taking classes, where did you take your classes?
I started at the Toronto Academy for Film and Television.
Okay,
because I just Googled Toronto acting, and that's the first thing that popped up.
Nice.
So I did their intensives in July, then intensive from September to December, like 5 days a week.
Wicked.
And I remember like not even telling anybody.
Really?
I didn't tell anybody I'm going to acting class. Because then when you tell people, then you're opening up the floodgate of the question, why? Why?
Yeah.
What do you, not even my parents. I didn't tell anybody. So my dad would actually drop me off sometimes to the acting class. But I would just say, oh yeah, it's teacher training. I'm in teacher training. It's going to be voice projection, teacher training.
That's
and then
amazing.
they didn't know. And then only until I started booking commercials and so they started seeing me around, even on a billboard once. Then they're like, oh wait, what's going on here? Then I'm like, that's me.
So funny.
Yeah, because like I don't want that extra. Like for example, when I did skydiving,
Right.
I never told my family. Because I don't want my mom to put negative vibes in the air.
Yeah,
Say, don't do that stuff. It's not for us brown people. We don't do that stuff. I was like, okay, mom. So I showed her after.
Nice.
Because they can't say you're going to die because you already did it.
Right. And if you die.
Yeah. You don't worry about that conversation.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I do the same thing. There's certain people that I just won't tell anything to until it's done because I already have the why not me, or like I can't do this because. I already have that in my brain, so I don't need other people to do it for me as well. Like I'm good, thanks.
And it's also because they have energies and they might think they want this for you.
Yeah.
Like for example, I'm single right now, but my older sister wants me to be married and have kids because that's what she wanted.
Right.
She's like, no, I want this for you. I just feel bad that you don't have this. I'm good.
Right.
I'm chilling. But it's funny because when you tell people stuff, then their realities come in. And maybe it's not real for them, but it is real for you.
Yeah,
and you've done
exactly.
it. And it's just like kind of like that sense, but
100%. It's like there's no one road map to life that equals happiness. You got to figure out what makes you happy.
I know, and that Jim Carrey quote always comes to me. It's like, you can fail at something you don't love, so you might as well try to do something you love.
Yeah,
I could feel at, like something like
100%. And the other thing too is I think a lot of parents and just like everybody that you tell that's not a creative, who has a normal job. Every person you tell,
9 to 5.
Yeah, they're like, oh, but what about the security and whatever and steady paycheck? And you're like, I don't know. I feel like security is an illusion now because you could get fired tomorrow.
Yeah, AI can come take your job.
Yeah, COVID could happen again.
What are you gonna do when you're 65 years old? What about your pension? It's like, bro, I'm not worried about 65. I don't even want to think about that right now. What about,
I don't want to think about
What about the 30, 20 years till I get there, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, you can travel when you retire. And we've seen those pictures of people traveling after they retire.
I've even heard, like, some ladies that they were in their 50s, which not that old,
not at all.
Just older. And they're like, I wish I traveled in my 30s just as you can do more. And your knees don't hurt as much.
Oh man, I've heard stories so many times. I know 2 stories. I know one guy, he worked at a convenience store, he owned a convenience store. He's like, when I retire and sell this, then I'm gonna travel the world.
Right.
And he was like older now. And when he sold it, that very day, the next week he got sick. So he's okay, but he has to get a needle every 2 weeks. So he can't go anywhere because he wanted to drive all the way to America. So he's like, is this a movie? Is this a movie? Another person I know, they wanted to travel once they retired. Their kids were grown and everything. And just as soon as he retired, he had another baby.
No.
Very late in life.
I would have been like, sorry, I'm traveling during your childhood.
Yeah, so he had
like, bye.
Yeah, so it's just like, wow, he's back.
That's nuts. Yeah.
So you can't really plan.
I feel like, planning is hard because things happen all the time that change your trajectory of life. So it's like, do it. If you can do it now, do it now.
And once you do it, you realize it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Like people are like, oh, I can't wait to go to LA one day. Just go.
Right.
I know it's hard, obviously, financially, but like once you go there and you come back, then you realize if you like it or not. But if you keep idolizing all these years, then you actually go do it, and maybe you don't like it.
Yeah.
So then it kind of robs you from the present moment as well.
Right.
In that sense, it's tricky. But life's, you never know what you want. You don't even know what your options are in life.
Yeah.
Sometimes you feel like I have 3 options, but the truth is you don't have any of these options. They were never available to you to begin with.
That's hilarious.
You have no options.
You actually have no options.
Yeah, you actually, your cards are over there,
do
buddy.
what you love or die.
Yeah.
It's really it.
Yeah. It's
so
tricky,
funny.
it's tricky. I don't know. Life is good though. How's life treating you?
Life is good. Happy doing the thing, you know?
Yeah, I was gonna say something. In terms of like believing in yourself, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, negative self-talk. That's huge. That's especially in our world.
Yeah.
In our world.
Yeah.
And especially as like comedians and actors.
I was gonna ask, like, how do you deal? Do you get it? And how do you deal with it when it's happening?
So I'm not perfect. It's like obviously, I'm not like, oh yeah, positivity.
Yeah, no, I'm actually crushing it 24/7.
Yeah, I've never bombed in my life. Every joke I've told has been gold.
Landed.
These landed. Like the premise lands. The build-up lands.
Yeah, I walk out.
Crush.
People are throwing flowers.
Flowers. I got like thorn cuts everywhere from flowers. No, I feel like it's just. I think one of my superpowers is I'm not hard on myself. And I think that came from just the constant travel and change every time. Like living in England, working 12 hours a day as a teacher, and then there's so much change and so having to work hard, then moving to Mexico and then having everything just changing and like being like, I don't even know the language. Like I would go to the mall to get food and I didn't speak Spanish. So I walked into a store that looked familiar, Zara. They had a Zara there in Monterrey, Mexico. I'm like, they gotta speak English in here. I walk in, I'm like, hey, what's up, what's going on? Okay, que dime? Like it was all Spanish. I'm like, oh my God, no one speaks English here. So they would like show me food in the cafeteria at the mall and the food court. And they'd be like, and I was like, that. And I would just eat it. And then eventually you learn.
Nice. Yeah.
But it was cool, man. So just like, I think just the constant, just knowing that when shit hits the fan, just rebuild. And at the end of the day, in the grand scheme of things, nothing's really real or matters. Like when we do a comedy show, we leave, it's a reset. No one's on like, yo, look, is that guy, he made that joke, or oh, remember when he bombed, or this is a reset, and it's in the grand scheme of things not that important. Like it's whatever you like, you just gotta enjoy it, and like but it happens. You're like, oh, I wish I'd said this instead, or like a heckler, I wish I did this. You can live your whole life like that. You can be in the shower and then you have the best rebuttal, like with the shampoo and the soap's like, yes. Oh yes, that's it.
Nailed it.
The shower's like going like this for you.
And you'll never have that heckle ever again.
Yeah, never. Won't even bring the joke up again.
Exactly. I'm like, actually not even gonna tell that.
If they ever say that again, if that 60-year-old lady ever says to me again.
Right?
Yeah.
Always. It's like post-argument. Oh, I should have said this, or this would have been a good comeback.
Yeah,
or whatever.
I seen a meme recently. It was a guy smiling. He's like, when you're in an argument and they're saying exactly what you thought they would.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah.
It's like, here it comes.
Okay,
I planned this already.
I knew you were gonna say that. It's so funny. It's so funny.
That's hilarious.
Which never happens.
Right? Never. So when you moved out and you moved to the UK, UK was first, then Mexico?
Yeah.
What was the biggest thing you learned about yourself while in the UK?
Oh wow. I learned how to cook.
Nice.
Yeah, in the first 3 months I was there, I lost 15 pounds.
No way.
I didn't really know how to cook that well. And I was living on my own. I was like, okay, I don't want to cook right now. I'll just go to sleep hungry tonight. The next day I'll make a big meal, burrito. So I had to learn about all that stuff. And, and all that stuff. But
nice.
the thing I learned the most was I idolize England so much. I'm like, England, I'm gonna find my wife there. It's gonna be amazing. They're gonna love my Canadian accent. They're gonna be drooling over me. I'm like, it's gonna be amazing. Go there, nothing.
Got humbled real quick.
I get there, people are fighting on the tube. I was like, what is going on here? People are drinking everywhere. People are like yelling and arguing, which is a great place. It's not for me. The weather, it rains every day. It just wasn't for me weather-wise, and teaching was intense there. They make you super teachers over there because you work so hard, and the biggest thing I learned was to have a backbone and stick up for yourself. Because being Canadian, I grew up in like positive vibes. I knew older people, so they had my back growing up in high school and stuff. I was supported.
Right.
But then over there, like I realized being in the real work world in the schools, you never know who's helping you and who's a wolf dressed in sheep's clothing, trying to make you do more work. So then I'm like, and I had two choices. Either I complain, this person making me do a lot of work, or positive mindset, all right, I have the opportunity to teach this class and do it on my own way because no one's really helping as much as I would like. So then I just took it my own way, did it, and then whatever, it got better.
Nice.
And then I realized no one can really mess with me in the teaching world anymore because I just went through like teaching boot camp for a year. And it was so having a backbone, just sticking up for yourself and just kind of like being confident in your own suggestions. Because growing up a middle child and all that stuff, you always think the person beside you has a better answer. And even growing up in a university, I'm like, I'm just gonna copy this person. I'm gonna copy their test, and then they get a bad grade, and you get a bad grade, and you're like, I thought you were smart. I thought you were smart. We both failed because of you. Yeah, well, you didn't study?
Me neither.
Why didn't you? I trusted you.
That's so funny.
And I remember just like being like, hearing a rubric, and then seeing it. And I remember once in university very vividly, I joined a group, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just coast. They're gonna do all the work. And they did the whole presentation. I had one line in the whole like 30-minute presentation, one line.
Yeah.
And then after the presentation, I remember a guy came up to me. He's like, yo, what happened up there? I'm like, oh, I got an A. I didn't have to do any work. He's like, yeah, but do you know what really happened up there? You made yourself look like you can't do anything.
Oh.
I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you basically let them slap you in the face. And they basically showed that you don't really know anything. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean? But I got an A. He's like, yeah, but look at the image you're giving about yourself. You showing the whole class that you don't know anything, you don't even want to participate. And then I never heard that before.
Damn.
So I was like, that's true. That's real talks.
That's
so,
like some hard truths.
And he didn't have to tell me that. I didn't even know him that well. I'm like, bro.
I didn't even know him like that.
Bro, what's your name, first of all? Are you a real person?
hilarious.
There's like a spirit guide that came to earth, like, Jabar,
Get your shit together.
did you just see that? It's like me of the future, like bald. I've come back to tell you this.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so then I realized, I'm like, you know what? Like, I need to show my best of what I am capable of. It's no more cool guy coasting like high school.
Damn.
Yeah, so that was cool. It was interesting. You never know, the randomest person will tell you something that sticks with you for the rest of your
The
life.
most profound shit.
Yeah.
You'll be like, oh, okay, damn, I'm gonna remember that for the rest of my life. My best friend not gonna remember a thing they've said the whole time.
They're biased anyways. They're team Jabar. Like, you have to say that.
Exactly, right? All the time.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't believe you.
yeah. It's
That's
true.
awesome. What do you find is the hardest part about acting?
Acting? The hardest part?
Yeah. Of the whole, like, being an actor process.
Definitely being vulnerable.
Yeah?
Being vulnerable. When I first started acting, I didn't know how to cry. Because I never cried for so many years. And being an Indian immigrant parents, middle child, and you can't really, there's no room to cry.
Right.
And feeling I didn't have a voice, I'm like, I can't cry. I gotta hold it in, hold in, suppress. And I traveled so much that I had masks and walls to protect me at all times. So kids are crying, teachers are crying that I'm leaving, they're sad. I'm just like, be happy it happened. Buddha smile. See you later. And then after when I did my first acting class, we did a scene where it was like, you and the girl are saying goodbye to each other, and you're never gonna see each other ever again. And action. So the girl starts crying, and I'm just like,
It was nice knowing you.
yeah, like, and then the director's like, cut! What the hell, Jabar? It looks like you don't even care about her. You don't even care. I'm like, I know, I can't. So I had to like really, it was a big realization. I'm like, wow, I'm numb. I'm so numb. So I thank acting for that, because it opened up my eyes, and I learned to cry. It took me like a month. I watched YouTube Try Not to Cry challenges.
No way.
I watched YouTube Try Not to Cry challenges.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that existed.
There is.
Oh, I'm searching that immediately.
It's the most empathetic videos, like, animal crying or like a kid running away.
Yeah, I cry over like random TikToks I scroll by. Like
That's your superpower.
I don't like crying in front of people, but I'm a big crier. It just is my curse and my power.
I love it now. If I ever cry now or a tear comes out, I feel so powerful. I'm like, wow. I use my friend a selfie usually. I'm like, are you okay?
Crying.
He's like, you're crying, but you're smiling. I'm like, because I'm human again. I'm human.
Yeah.
It was so nice because I got to feel human and kind of take off the walls and math, and I journaled and meditation and just learned to cry.
Nice.
And then I did the scene again, or like did a monologue, and I finally was able to cry and be vulnerable in that monologue. And I was like, this is real.
Nice.
This is real. And just now I feel like I can empathize with people more,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so that's the
wicked.
best thing about acting, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, acting journey, spiritual journey are very married that way.
Yeah, and it takes
sometimes.
courage to do a scene and be vulnerable and be like, hey,
100%.
go there with somebody, like, I got your back, let's go there, let's do this divorce scene, or let's do this fighting over a kid, or let's be the police officer that, and you kind of, it's all about experience. The more you know, the more you can really go, that's our toolkit.
Yeah, for sure. Wicked. I love that. You did a silent retreat as well, right? How long, where? Tell me everything.
Yeah. So,
how are you a performer quiet for more than a minute?
Yeah, exactly. And a teacher and a comedian actor, no, so it's called Vipassana meditation.
Okay.
And it happens in Egbert, Ontario. It's an hour and a half away.
Okay.
So it's 10 days, silent retreat. You go there, and you can't talk, obviously, silent.
Right.
No reading, no writing, no journaling, no nothing. No communicating either. So there's like 100 of us, 50 guys, 50 girls. But if I walk by you during like the break free time, during the break time, I can't talk to you or even look at you. You have to look down. And then you meditate 10 hours a day.
Like solidly in your own world.
And you meditate 10 hours a day.
Damn.
10 hours a day. So you wake up at like 4 in the morning, and you hear a dong, you're like, whoa, what's going on? You get there, you meditate 4:30 to 6:30, have breakfast, meditate again from like 9 to 11, have a little lunch, meditate again 1 to 4, have a little tea break, meditate again from like 6 to 8. Then there's like an hour video of a guy telling us stuff, and he was crushing. He would make a small joke and we would die laughing because it was like our only entertainment. But he was crushing.
That's
like
hilarious.
He was something stupid like, oh, you know, and water is wet. And everyone's like, yo, it's true. It's true, they are. And they're dying.
That's so
But
funny.
I remember just like, one thing I learned is I talked to myself for 10 days, you know?
Yeah.
And I would hear my voice out loud sometimes in my room or something. Whoa, that's what I sound like. And I realized I'm not a bad person to be around. And you really kind of, it was cool, I was happy, you know? And one of the things was you learn about things that you're clinging to and you crave, and you learn about aversions and avoidance. And whenever you feed into those things, they get stronger.
Oh, okay.
So let's say you have a craving for chocolate chip cookies. Now every time you have that cookie now, because you get a feeling in your arm, you want a cookie, whatever. It's like a random tingling feeling.
Right.
Let's say, and then you eat that cookie. Now that feeling gets stronger. It's like addictions, you know?
Yeah,
so next time you get that craving, you'll be less likely to say no. But when you say no to it, the second it gets softer and softer and softer and softer until you do that. And the best thing I liked about the retreat was they didn't tell us anything like visualize this, affirmations this, guided, none of that. There's like just do body scans. Just scan from the top of your head to the bottom of your toes and just look for sensations back and forth for 10 days.
Nice.
So it was like just that, because that's the most present moment. And then you just go through it and then you say aniche, as it'll pass. And yeah, I learned a lot. I thought I was dead. I felt like I was dead.
No way.
Because I missed like my mom, my dad, my brother, sister, and I couldn't call them or anything for 10 days. And then you see them in the best light.
Aww.
And then you see them as their best version. You see them in a version, it's not even a real version of them, but you see them in the best version.
Nice.
You're like, oh, I missed that side of my brother that I've never seen in my life. But there's a version, but deep
you know
down,
it's there.
Deep down it's in there, right? So it's just like, you have that and it's just such a beautiful thing, and then you miss them and you see them, finally give them a hug, and then 48 hours later, you're back on autopilot and you're like, oh, what happened?
Right.
Because you got to keep it up, you know, got to keep the practice going.
Yeah,
They want to do like an hour meditation in the morning and an hour in the evening. But I haven't been keeping up with that, but if you do that, I guess.
Yeah, I haven't kept up with it either. I want to make it more of a daily routine thing, but yeah, it's difficult.
So I look for more just like moments in the day that can be present.
Yeah.
Like maybe when I'm drinking tea, I'll just really focus on that.
Nice.
Or 10 minutes here and there and just kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like meditation is it's like exercise for the real world.
Right.
But the real meditation presence is when you do get triggered, how do you react?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's the real challenge. Anyone can meditate in a quiet room.
Yeah.
But can you not get
Apply it to
triggered
real
when your
life.
family's around you triggering you? You know?
Yeah. In the 10-day meditation or silent retreat, did you find it eventually you like organized your thoughts better? Like, do you have like a bunch of voices happening at once kind of thing? How does your brain work, Jabar? Tell me.
Do you have a brain, Jabar?
I know you have one. I just want to know. Did you know like the
so-
voice in your head, did it get quieter or did it just get more organized? How did it change?
So you would think something great would happen after 10 days, right? You would think so. But you would hope so at least, right?
Yeah.
But right before the meditation starts, they ring the bell for silence.
Yeah.
You get to talk to people for like about 1 hour when you're all settling in, putting your bags, and talk to people. Hey, how's it going? This is your second time. Cool. Can you give me some advice? And one guy's like, just be light. Be light. Like be easy on yourself. And those 2 words saved me through the 10 days. Like if you didn't say those 2 words, I would have quit day 2. Because anytime that you're doing meditation, you're doing this, you look around and everyone's in perfect stance. But you're not.
Right.
But you're like, I'm doing something wrong. And then you start judging yourself, just like with comedy, you start judging like, oh, how come they're doing so good and I'm not? But then it's like, then I would hear, be light. And remind myself, be light. Who cares? Be light.
Nice.
Be easy on yourself.
Yeah.
So those 2 words saved me. So whenever like I close my eyes, proper position, someone else probably looking at me.
Right, I was just gonna say, I was like, and then as soon as you close your eyes, someone else was
oh wow, look at
theirs.
look at that guy.
Exactly.
You know? And then even after meditation we're done, some people will still keep meditating. We're leaving and they're still meditating.
Right.
I'm like, bro, is 10 hours not enough?
Just finishing a thought.
Yeah, is 10 hours not enough, bro? And then I'm like, oh, why? So you just be light. And like, I started off with like a lot of pillows and all this stuff, and then eventually I kind of got rid of them because it's hard for me to sit in that position, like cross-legged for a long time.
Yeah,
So I was in pain. I remember one of the sessions, my right knee was hurting so much, it was an hour. I'm like, this session, I'm not gonna move. I'm gonna do it fully. So I sat down in a position like this, and then like my knee starts hurting more and more. I'm not gonna move it. My knee can break for all I care. I'm not gonna move right now. And then I start breathing. I'm like, trying to get the pain away, and the whole hall can hear me because it's silence, right? And I'm breathing so loud, and everyone's like probably looking over like, is this guy okay? And then once we broke the 10-day silence, they're like, hey Jabar, on day 6, we heard you. And we're proud of you for making it through that, you know? Like,
that's so
yeah,
sweet.
they're like, cool, you know, because the guys, because they hear you, and then you're seeing everybody, and just be light. It's like, why, don't be so hard on yourself. It's like, okay. So that was cool, and just like, but what I learned was like, I do have cravings and clinginess to certain things that aren't obviously serving me anymore. And now with the solar eclipse that passed, I'm like, I'm gonna stop a lot of stuff, you know, like kind of like people focused, but it's funny because in life you want everything. You want the cake and you want to eat it too, and you do things. Sometimes we do things that we know are dead end, but we do it anyways, even though we know where it's going to be. So I'm looking more for like more quality experiences and like dating and all that stuff. So it's a revolving door, you know. So I learned a lot about myself in that sense, and life, just be light, be easy on yourself.
Wicked.
Because everyone's and people are really mean to themselves, you know. So imagine, so like. Which is true. Thankfully I'm not in that state, but I've been there too, right? Yeah. But it's like the world's already trying to bring you down. Why? You know, we got to be our own fans, our own cheerleaders. But at the same time, so much easier said than done.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Like, I don't want to sound like, oh yeah, just
do that. You're welcome.
Are you sad? Just be happy instead. Like, did you think about turning that upside down? I seen a meme. It's like when you're sad, just remember, sad spelled backwards is das, and that's no good.
I was like, where is he going with this? Hilarious. That's no good.
Yeah.
It's
so bad, but so good at the same time.
Love it.
Yeah. Cheesy, but when I was doing the silent meditation retreat 10 days, I told myself, I'm like, I hope none of the ones I loved ever do this because it's so painful. By day 2, I wanted to leave. But how do you leave? You can't just walk out and say, oh, family emergency. Because you still have to give someone a reason. You feel shame, right? Which you shouldn't feel shame to leave something, but you feel shame, and then you have your phone. So how do you say family emergency? And one,
who would have told you?
I got a message.
Can sense it.
I got a message. My mom needs me right now. But one guy wanted to leave so bad, and it was like his 4th time doing it. He wanted to leave on day 3 or something, so he took a COVID test, hoping he's positive. He's hoping he's positive. Like, it's not for the light. It's some tough stuff. Damn. But once you do it, you're like, I can do anything. Because you know what to predict, and I was scared to turn my phone back on. I was shook. I'm like, when I turn this phone back on, I'm gonna have 1,000 notifications. I didn't have any notifications. I had a little bit, but it was just like, my sister's like,
just the spam email. Like, deal.
Amazon, text message to random people. But so it's crazy because once you get in your phone, you can just feel it. But after 10 days being silent, when we did start talking on the last night, you stay on day 10, by the evening you start talking again. But we started talking to each other, and it felt like a drug. We were so high off each other's words. Just like talking felt like, we were like, the dopamine was crazy, just talking. I guess we also have shared that experience now together. How was it for you? Yo, bro, you were stressing that day. I saw you pacing around. Yo, remember that happened? I saw you. Yo, how'd you sit down for so long? And you're just talking, and as we're talking, it's getting so like, adrenaline, and we're feeling so good, and then like a mosquito or a bug went into some guy's ear, into his ear, and he couldn't get it out. He had to go to the hospital.
Oh no!
So the day he can talk, he had to go to the hospital to get a thing. They had to like flush it with water, and like it came out. Okay. I gave him like my plucker. I'm like, here, try this.
Yeah. That's hilarious. What are the odds? Straight in the ear. Here looks good.
And it would like hold on to his eardrum. Like it would just, it wouldn't, like it was. It's like anyone's worst fear. That is a fear. It's the worst fear.
That is a nightmare. Yeah. That is a nightmare I have had.
I was like, oh, hood on. Like, don't wish that on me.
Right?
Yeah.
Damn. That's incredible. Good for you.
Bucket list. It's a bucket list. Like I live my life as if like I'm gonna like die soon or something. Like everything I do, it's like, all right, let's do it. Let's head on. Like I stopped drinking 5 years ago.
Nice.
And when I took that break, I remember I would tell people, and they'd be like, oh, why did you stop drinking? Why do you think? Do you think it makes you better than us? Like, what's going on? And all these weird questions. So instead of saying I stopped drinking, I started saying I'm training for a marathon.
Nice.
And when I changed what I said, training for a marathon, all of a sudden everyone's like, yo, Jabar's training for a marathon. You better not offer him any alcohol. You better not, he's going for it. They're excited for you.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, one sentence changed how our next interactions are going to be.
Yeah.
And then they're supporting you and all this stuff. Why is it okay to say I'm training for a marathon and not drinking instead of just saying I'm not drinking at all?
Right.
So then I said it so much that my mind's like, all right, Jabar, start training. I'm like, for what? They're like, that marathon you keep telling everyone about. So then,
for what?
So then I trained for 6 to 8 months and I ran a marathon.
No way.
I ran 42 kilometers.
That's
42.
congrats.
Yeah, it was a lot of research. I failed the first attempt. At 28 kilometers, I failed. My body gave up.
20 kilometers is long.
28, yeah. And like, I was running by myself because COVID canceled the marathon. So I ran by myself.
Yeah.
So in the Humber River, I'm running.
Nice.
And my legs, so much like lactic acid built up in my calves where I couldn't put any pressure on them. So I just like dropped. And I'm by myself in the Humber River, like 8 kilometers away.
Jeez.
And no phone, nothing. I'm on the ground like, okay, it's gonna
Guess I'll be here.
It's gonna get dark soon. And you hear a coyote or something, oh! Gonna be here for a while. Then I get up and I would walk 2 steps, sit back down, couldn't have any pressure on my calves. And I saw these kids on bikes. I'm like, yo, can you help me? And they got scared because the guy covered in dirt is saying, help.
This homeless guy's yelling at me.
this homeless guy, yeah. Give me your bike. And then I get to them and I'm like, yo, I'm training for a marathon. Can you guys give me a double ride home or something?
That's so funny.
They're like, all right, cool, we got you. Some kids, they're like, here, you ride our bike and we're gonna follow you on the bike. And then they let me ride their bike. I was able to like bike ride.
Yeah.
I wasn't put pressure on my calves.
Oh, okay.
So I rode the bike home, like 8 kilometers.
Nuts.
And then I got home like, whew, that was wild. But the weirdest part was when I failed at the marathon, I was happy. I was like, oh, this is amazing. Because now when I do run it, I'm gonna actually feel a sense of award, like sense of achievement.
Yeah.
But when you get something too fast, sometimes you kind of can't really appreciate it. You're like, let's say me and you, we start comedy. Let's say our first joke is such a hit, it goes viral online, and now we're touring the world, giving with our 5 minutes, you know?
Right.
But like, oh, that was easy. But now, but us like putting in the grind in all the time, putting in like bombing, this, doing great. One thing works, one didn't work. One joke worked great one day, the next day was horrible. The same joke, you're like, so going through this, I feel like it's how we are going to appreciate it. Then you remember the journey, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's...
I thank God I'm not famous every day.
Yeah. Don't you dare sign us.
No, but I'm really glad that I didn't make it like as a teenager or like super young adult, because I feel like I'd probably have some sort of serious addiction problem or be dead. Like I feel like.
Think so? Addictive personality?
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Same here.
So when you quit alcohol, was that just like, I'm going to do it for a month, or were you just like, I'm done with it, I don't want to do it anymore?
So I started like a doctorate of education, because like you said earlier about like what's next, our potential is limitless.
You're right.
So I was living in a really weird state where like as soon as I would achieve something, I would say, oh, once I achieve this, then I can be happy.
Yeah.
But once I achieve this, then I can be happy.
Yeah.
But then I would achieve it and instantly a new goal would pop up.
Yeah.
Bachelor of Education. Oh, once I get my master's, get the master. Oh, once I get a doctorate, and then you go for it. So once I started my doctorate, I said, hey, I don't even know what APA format is. I don't know anything. I don't know if I can do this. So what can I control to give me more focus? So I'm gonna stop drinking for a little while. Because living in Cancun, teaching Cancun and partying, and you're like in the party central, you know. So 2 years in Cancun. The first year I partied. Second year my doctorate started. Completely different country because I was stopped drinking, and it was cool. So I just took a break from it, and then I never knew the break never ended.
Nice.
It's been like 5 years. I was like, oh, I don't really need it anymore. So I made a list of things that I do. I made a list of things that I did while drinking, like dancing. So then I joined dance class. I'm gonna learn this sober, and then I would go dance class when I came back, trying like 5 hours a day.
Damn.
Something crazy, like addictive personality, and I was shredded. All this dancing, like I was like, oh wow, this is a good side effect. Because you're doing all this stuff and you don't even realize that you're working out. Because you know, even like when we were doing like a move once like this, and the next day my arms are tired. I'm like, what happened yesterday? What's going on? And I remembered, oh yeah, that move. And then I made it like, and then the funniest thing was, I thought I'll never be able to have a deep conversation with someone. Because growing up, it was only when we were drinking we had those deep thoughts. Yeah. We let the guard down. But when I had a sober, deep conversation with somebody, it was deep. It was real, and you remember it.
Right? Yeah. and you remember it.
They don't remember it because they were drinking, but I remember it.
Right? Yeah.
And I remember just like, wow, this is powerful.
Right.
Like I genuinely feel happy for you.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
And I find too, when you're drinking, you have those conversations. It's not taken to like a serious degree because they're like, oh, you're just saying this because you're drunk.
Yeah, yeah.
You're just saying this because you've been drinking. Whereas like sober, you're just like, here it is.
Yeah, yeah. Like I can't blame anything, and that was the best. That was the beauty of it, because I couldn't blame the alcohol anymore. Like let's say I'm working out and the abs aren't looking as good as I want to. Oh, it's because I drank some beers.
Right,
I drank a little bit. I ate some food after. But then when you take away that excuse, the only person you talk to is yourself. It's like, no, I feel like shit because I've been eating greasy tacos every day for the past 6 months. Yeah.
Wicked. That's awesome. Well, good for you.
Yeah, well.
Nice.
Yeah. Not perfect though, for sure. Like I'm just sharing some highlights.
That's
Yeah.
That's all right. No, we don't expect you to be perfect here.
I remember like I tried therapy here and there too. And I remember my first therapist, she was like, oh, it's like kind of made it feel like my problems are too small.
Oh yeah?
And it was interesting because like I was just like taking good things, whatever. So she's like, why do you even want therapy? And I'm like, oh, come on, like, trust me, I got issues, girl. Like,
we'll get there.
Let's get there together. And I didn't see her anymore because I just kind of felt weird.
Yeah, I did. Went back to like not being so hard on yourself. I didn't think I was very hard on myself, and then I was going to therapy, and she's like, damn, you need to
chill out, girl.
You need to relax. Like you're very hard on yourself. I'm like, I guess I am. I think you're right. So weird because I didn't think I was at all. I was like, no, I'm pretty good. Like I have pretty good confidence. I do like myself. I love myself even. And so like, I never thought that I was like really hard on myself because I love myself. But being hard on myself?
Yeah. How do you think that came to be?
I think it's because I have youngest child syndrome, and where there's a big gap between, not a huge gap. There's 4 years between me and the next one, and so 4, 5, 6 years older. And so I always tried to play keep up. And so now I'm just constantly trying to keep up with what? I don't know, but it's that
interesting.
like,
You feel like a race started earlier at a younger age. Oh, they have a job already. I'm in grade 2. I gotta figure this out. Okay, can I sell lemonade?
It would just be even like playing sports and stuff. Like, oh, Allison can't play because she's too little. She's gonna get hurt and shit like that. And so it'd be like, no, I'm tough enough. I can do it. Like, I can play with the big kids and stuff like that. So it just like stemmed from there, I think.
Interesting. That's valid.
Yeah,
that's valid. If you're growing up and always, oh no, go easy on it, go easy on it.
Yeah. No. So I'm always in my head like I could do more.
Interesting.
It's a weird, Even one time I caught myself. It was so bad. I was actually working on my iPad, doing work that I was supposed to do, and in my head it was like, you should be doing something right now, and I was like, I am. What are you talking about?
Wild.
It's so wild. Brain is a tricky thing.
And social media is also killing us right now, because like I was watching a video of a BTS video of these guys that are having so much fun making the reel, and they're having so much fun. They're laughing and they're making the bloopers and everything. I'm like, wow, I wish I was in that video. I wish I was with them, right? And I was in that video. I was in that video laughing with those guys, and I'm jealous.
Funny.
I'm jealous of myself.
That's hilarious.
I was jealous of myself. I'm like, I wish I was. That is me.
I do like all the documenting of my own stuff, because even when I feel like I'm not doing enough, I can look back. You know how like Facebook memories or like your phone gives you like photo highlights?
Google Photos.
I'm like, oh damn, I was doing shit. Like look at me go. Look at me do this stuff. But the comparison to everybody else is brutal, especially with like comedians killing it with crowd work and stuff. I'm like, but nobody's showing like, hey, I bombed for the 60th time tonight. You know?
I'll do like a 10-minute set, and maybe I'll do crazy good or really bad, but I'll just share that 30-second of the big laugh.
Exactly, this big laugh, I'll share that part. Yeah.
So and then I'll cut it off right before the dead silent part.
Yeah, exactly. Like, ooh, cut that.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's tricky, but it's also, that's why I like the open mics, is because I have like super experienced comedians and new comedians, and I like seeing the super experienced comedians come try stuff, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, because it's like, oh yeah, that is where we all start from, is just like, hey, I'm going to try this and see how it goes. And whereas like for really experienced, really good comedians, you see their work and you're like, oh man, they're just boom, 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 like they could do this all day. And like, but sometimes like they're not shooting, nobody's shooting 100s here, you know, so it's like, or batting 100, whatever the fuck the saying is.
Yeah.
Sport analogy.
I don't know. I understood.
Insert
I
sport
understood.
analogy
I understood.
here.
I understood. Shooting 100s. Bro,
Shooting 100.
are you shooting 100s? I think everyone should be shooting 100s.
Everybody shoot 100s. Whatever.
No, it's so funny because like when you start doing comedy and you see someone do a great job, you're like, wow, they're doing great. And you're like, oh, that's a good comedian, right?
Yeah.
And then even when you kind of label them as a good comedian and they're not doing a good job in the next set,
They're still good.
you're just like, wow, he's so brave.
He's so brave.
She's so brave trying this new material right now,
Yeah,
and they're doing
yeah.
it for themselves. Like we convince ourselves to feel a certain way for someone. Like I know some headliners, and I'll see maybe they'll do a big crush, or maybe they're trying new stuff, and now I'm like, oh wow, like they're doing great stuff. But if someone you label them as, oh, they're not that great or something like that, and even if they're doing good or not, it's just such a weird thing. Like first impressions are so important.
Yeah.
And it's tricky.
I find too with a lot of people say they can do stand-up comedy, or like, oh, I'd be really good at it. And I'm like, then do it.
Yeah.
Then do it. Get up on stage, do it.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to talk a big game and say like, oh yeah, I can tell jokes. I'm so funny with my friends when I smoke weed or
It's so
whatever,
different.
and then
It's
they
so
get up on
different.
stage.
Yeah.
And different beast entirely. Different beast
It's
entirely.
so different with your friends.
And like,
who are-
yeah, I'm sure a lot of people can do it. I don't deny that at all. There's so many different types of humor, and like
Yeah.
people can do it, but do it then.
Yeah.
Then do it.
Yeah, yeah. And we live in a society right now where people are embarrassed to try.
Yeah.
And they're embarrassed to look like they're trying.
Yes.
And it's like so sad to
yes.
see. Like, oh, you're embarrassed that
know.
people don't think you're trying to do something you love.
Right? I've even had that with like seeing people jog, like jogging in the streets. I'm always like, yeah, you go girl, like get it. And then, but when I think about jogging myself, I'm like, they're gonna look at me and be like, oh, look at this bitch trying and whatever. And I'm like, that's so not.
But where else, if you want to
And
jog,
also,
you
who
want to jog.
cares? They drive by and you'll never see them again. Like,
Yeah, and they're driving by, they're in a car, they're comfortable.
it just so doesn't matter.
It's all about how you feel on the inside.
Yeah.
Because I notice, like, if I'm tired, then I'll see more things, more reasons to be upset or more reasons to
Yeah.
snap. But when I'm rested, I'm like, it's all right, traffic.
Yeah.
It's just traffic.
Yeah.
I'm tired. Oh my God, like, are you serious? Like, you know, and like, it's all about how you feel inside. So
Right.
it really is like projection about yourself.
Absolutely.
And it's interesting. So like when you're in a good mood, oh, good for you, go for the jog. In a
Yeah.
bad mood, like, wow, really? I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
But then again, we can't judge anybody, right?
Yeah.
Because some people have legit like illnesses or like legit something happened medically that caused them to be a certain way.
Right.
You know, like there's so many things like PCOS. I don't know too much about it, but I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
people that have gone through it and then they gain weight or like thyroid and all this stuff. So we never know what someone's going through. So we
Right.
can't. Who are we to judge? We can't judge anybody.
Yeah,
We've never
yeah.
been a second in their shoes, right?
Yeah.
So my mantra is like, don't judge and be present, bro. And just,
Right.
Yeah, and even with yourself, like for example, like what's something you wish more people knew about you? It's kind of hard to say, you know. Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's such a tricky question.
That I'm awesome.
Yeah, wish more people knew that, you know? I'm awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. What about you? What is something that you wish more people knew about you?
It's funny, like when I booked the Latebloomer role, everyone was like, oh, so you know Just Rain?
No way.
They're like, so you know him? Like you guys
That's
are
so
friends?
funny.
He
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
hooked you up? Like you guys know each other? I was like, bro, I auditioned.
Yeah. Is
My
this
age-
people not in the industry?
Not in the industry.
Yeah, okay, I was going to say.
Yeah. They're like,
That's what people in the
oh yeah, so you know
not in
him?
the industry
He hooked
don't
you up? You guys
understand.
are comedian friends? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, my agent sent me an audition. I did the audition.
Yeah.
They liked it. And then I met him for the first time there.
That's wicked.
Yeah.
Who's your agent?
Heinz Management.
Nice.
Yeah.
Shout out Heinz.
Yeah, they're cool. No, it was cool because I first got a role as a reader for their auditions.
Oh, okay.
Role
nice.
as a, because I speak Punjabi
How'd
too.
you get that job?
My agent got me she submitted me for the reader role.
No way.
So Larissa Mayer Casting was,
Nice.
and I was the reader for all the auditions they were doing for 3 days in a row.
Oh,
so all their
wicked.
main cast, I was reading for them on Zoom.
Oh,
So-
that's amazing.
With the room with Just Rain, Larissa Mayer called, all the people are in there.
Yeah.
And like 10 people, and then the other person would come in and they'll read with me. One guy
Wicked.
thought I was playing Just Rain's role. He thought
way.
I was gonna play Just Rain's role in his song. Like, I thought you were playing his role.
That's
nah, he's playing.
hilarious.
So when I had that opportunity being in the room with those people, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, time for me to show them what I can do.
Nice.
So I acted my ass off for those 3 days.
Nice.
I learned the scripts for the auntie, the uncle, the cousin, the me, and I was like, I'm gonna show you, and I acted, performed. And they
Nice.
saw that, they saw I can do everything, they were happy with me. And then a new role popped up, my agent submitted me, and then I guess they knew I'm capable of being flexible, and they liked my audition, and then they booked me for Shady Brown Guy.
Wicked.
Shady Brown Guy.
Is that the one?
That was the role name. It started off as Shady Brown Guy, and then I would go to set, and there are people, hey, nice to meet you. Are you the shit? I'm like, Shady Brown Guy? They're like, yeah, they didn't want to say it.
Say it.
They don't,
Say
yeah,
it. I dare you. Say it.
I'll say it with you. I'll say it with you. And then eventually, once they came to filming and the credits, they changed my name to Amin.
Oh, okay, I was
they
going
gave
to say, because on IMDb it does not say Shady Brown Guy.
Yeah, they changed it. It was like Shady Brown Guy,
That's
blonde girl student. They had all the different stuff. And eventually they gave us names.
Okay,
and then I was like,
fair.
way
Just
better.
in the process.
Way better to have a name than like Security Guard 7. You know? Yeah. So it was cool. And it was cool going on set and doing some real acting, you know, action scene, running from him, dodging through the laptop in the scene, and just fighting, yelling at him, talking back, and like,
Wicked.
It was cool to do some real acting, yeah.
That's amazing. So what was your biggest takeaway from being a reader in the room? Like, what did you learn about the audition process? Anything that helped you with acting?
I learned like everyone's kind of just figuring it out. There's no one that came in and just crushed.
Right.
There was no one. But then some of them, even though it was virtual, we felt the emotion. Like they went there and then I went there because they allowed me to go there.
Right.
So having a good scene partner, and I was like, and some aunties would come and yell at me for the scene, and I would feel sad sometimes, getting hurt because I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that, you know, like. And they went there, and the guys went there, and what I really learned was everyone was so grateful for Just Rain, because when we were younger in the Indian community, me personally, my greatest feeling in life is to make my mom laugh, because I just feel like she didn't get that much growing up. So I always want to make her laugh. So I would show her videos of Just Rain doing something stupid, like or some funny dance, and I would show him subliminally trying to bond with her. And then now I hear him working with him, and everyone that came in with auditions, older, younger, they're like, hey, like where you been? Because he was gone for 5 years, missing in action. So he came back, and then everyone was like, oh, hey, just wants to know, like even whether I book it or don't book it, just want to know, say we appreciate you. Nice. And it was so cool how much love he has for the community, has for him and stuff, and it was cool to see.
Nice.
And even me, like I remember him back in the days, and so you never know what impact you're putting out in the world. Like you're hosting an open mic, which is great. You're giving people an opportunity to perform in a safe place, you know, in a good venue.
It's a great venue.
Yeah. So kudos to you, and you're giving, and you never know who you're helping out, because I know it's a safe place.
Yeah, that's a good spot. We got good people. Shout out the Real Jerk Legacy.
Yeah.
Wicked, awesome. So being on the set of Latebloomer, what are some of the things that you learned from that experience?
Being on set of Latebloomer, what have I learned?
First of all, did you have fun?
Yeah. It's funny because like the day I was supposed to film the big scene, the running and the jumping and the fighting and everything like that, I went to work.
No way.
I went to work. I taught till 3 p.m. and then I drove to Hamilton to film from like 5 p.m. till 3 in the morning.
Damn.
And I asked myself, why did I go to work? I could have taken the day off and rested, you know?
Right.
But you get there and it's just like you learn every role is important. Every role has its own part, and you have to learn to bounce off each other and all that stuff. And I learned like it's possible. Like I can do it. You know, when you do it, you can do it.
Nice.
It was nice to have a trailer for the first time.
Nice.
So that was cool, you know, having
awesome.
a trailer. It's cool to say, but then you're like in a small space, you're like, why is the trailer so fancy? You know? Why is it so cool?
Yeah, and where's the heater in this trailer?
Yeah. It's cool. But they're like, oh, what do you want to eat? I'm like, you're offering me what I want to eat? I'll get it myself. No, we'll get it for you. And yeah, it was just cool. Just so many like, people are having fun. He was having a lot of fun on set too, and everyone was having fun, and never let it get to your head. Just have fun and enjoy, and just, yeah, it's possible. Anything's possible. And like it was a running scene too sometimes, so I thought my heart was pounding, and you do it again and again.
Nice.
And I learned, it was funny to see how forgiving everyone was. Like I remember some line, maybe they fluff a line, like just do it again in the moment.
Right.
Like it wasn't even like cut, reset, do it again, just do it again right now. It's funny how editing can really just help you so much.
So helpful.
Yeah, like you do the scene again. We'll do the scene without the laptop, without throwing the laptop, and then just bring the laptop out. And like, it was interesting how, yeah. So I just learned to have fun. I learned to have fun.
Nice.
I guess, I don't know.
That's wicked. That's
helps.
awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's great, because you don't want to go to set and then, you know, take it too seriously and stress about everything that could go wrong and blah, 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 blah. Just go have fun.
But let it get to you, even let it get to your head. Like, okay, now you get a principal role, you're speaking, but one day you were background at one point, you know? Then how did you feel? Oh, don't remember how it was, don't forget, you know?
Yeah,
background. Sure. And then like, I remember one time I did a background gig when I first started. They had me doing background acting behind the camera. Like the camera wasn't even facing
hilarious.
me. But they're like, you pretend you're shopping over there.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like, this is
Like, what is the point?
The camera,
Just in case we swing the camera
we might need
around.
a shadow of you walk, but behind the curtain,
That's
we want just a small silhouette of your arm to go by. And it's crazy, you know?
That is so
Yeah, so
funny.
background wasn't for me, because then they'll hold you for hours and hours. And
So long.
I remember like working on Man from Toronto, I was doing background for it, and just for 3 nights in a row. 2 nights we didn't even get called on set,
Damn.
just on hold, just hanging out. I was like, cool for networking, but I felt like I
yeah.
was like in jail almost, or cattle, you know? Like background's cool for anybody who enjoys it, but
Yeah.
I just didn't really feel.
Yeah. Not when you want to do more. Yeah.
So training, I'm more into like acting training right now. I'm studying at EVN Film Studios with
Nice.
Earl, so go there weekly. So
Oh yeah?
yeah, really
Wicked.
kind of go deeper and stuff like that. Yeah.
Nice.
It's always training, always
Is
training.
he the one that whipped you into shape about crying? Or being
No.
upset, that couple scene?
No, that was the first one. That's
Oh, okay.
Andre. That
I was going to say, I'm
Andre.
like, I can picture Earl.
Yeah. Earl's more like, need to be heavier. You
Yeah,
need to be
yeah.
heavier. You're too light right now. Yeah, he's good. He's great. He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, he's
He knows
great.
what he's talking about, yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny. So as far as teaching and acting, how important is teaching in acting, or does one help the other at all?
Yeah, for sure. I never want to give my students a limited mindset, you know? So when they see my TikTok or my Instagram and they're like, wow, Mr. Bains, you're a comedian? Mr. Bains, you make jokes?
That's
like, what?
so
They must be so bad. They roast me a little bit here and there, you know? And then like, so just for them to know that teachers are more than just teachers. We're humans.
Right.
We're doing cool stuff, and you can do it too. So like I had a role in a Hallmark movie, and I showed them the scene.
No
and they're
way.
like, oh, cool, wow, that's you, wow. They're like, how much did you get paid? I'm like, oh, just this much. And they're like, and they made millions? And you only got that? And they're like, you need more. And they're like, so they're showing me my worth and stuff. And
Aww.
and also like teaching is important because it matters, and it matters every day. So you can't let your bad day leak onto them. And you snap on them when they're just being kids, you know?
Yeah.
And I realize everyone just kind of wants to be seen and heard and attention. So the one that is rebelling and being silly, the kid, maybe you just need to listen to him and whisper to him like, hey bro, like, what do you really want? You want to go for a walk? Go for a walk.
Yeah.
You want to put your head down and take a nap? Take a nap. Okay, it's fine. You can do this later. It's okay. It's not that serious, because they're used to like, do it now, da, 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 da.
Right.
And I'm like, it's not that serious, you know? Yeah, so just have fun and just, I always tell them, find out what you like to do. Find out what you like to do. Do it. Enjoy, explore. But now everyone's in a gaming world right now. Everyone just wants to game.
Yeah.
And they take it seriously. Like they'll fight over it, cry over it. Why'd you take my stuff in that game, bro? Why'd you do that? I'm like, it's not that serious. Yeah. But it's hard, you know, when we're that age, you tell someone something like,
Oh yeah, everything's a big deal.
if you
when
tell
you're
a
young.
kid, like you tell a kid, hey, just so you know, friends isn't the most important thing in the world. They'd be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I want to be popular.
Right.
I want to be popular. It's like,
Social, this is all they have.
yeah, but what does popular even mean to you? Is the bully popular? Is the jock popular? Is the cool kid with two? Or is the chill kid with 3 friends popular? The mysterious kid, kid. You know, so what's popular?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to be popular in the right ways.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wicked.
And everyone figures it out.
Yeah.
Like all these kids, like we're always, oh no, are they gonna be okay? Everyone figures it out.
Everybody figures
if you
it
look
out.
outside, the cars are still moving. Everyone's doing all right. So why
Yeah.
can't we? Why not? Why not us?
True.
Yeah.
Nice. So I like to finish this podcast with the fast 5 questions, and they're usually not fast, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
So, what is your favorite beverage?
Orange Pico tea with milk and sugar.
Nice.
Because it's like the only time I get a break sometimes in life, because I'm always go, grinding. But when I have my tea, I'm like, all right, the next 5 minutes,
It's just
I'm
about
just
tea.
gonna chill. I'm have my cookie with it, and then that way, and I drink it slow to make my break longer. But yeah, it's like a symbolism of like, so the more tea I drink in a day, the better the day was.
Nice.
Yeah, some days
Wicked.
no tea. I'm like, oh man, today was a tough day. Yeah, it was just a rough day. Didn't get no
love
tea.
that.
It's so like low stakes.
Yeah. It's hilarious. What is your favorite genre to watch?
I don't know what it is about like gangster hood movies.
Yeah.
I can't stop watching them. I'm like rewatching The Wire right now.
Oh, yeah?
On Crave, yeah. Just like, I love that
Nice.
stuff. I don't know, because it's like, I don't know, like brotherhood,
The Wire's a good show.
camaraderie. It's just like, I don't know what it is. It's like, yo, it's so cool. I don't know. Like
Nice.
Menace to Society, all those movies from back in the days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wicked. What is a pet peeve of yours?
A pet peeve of mine is loud chewers. People that chew so loud.
Yeah.
And I just get, like, I just have to put my earbuds in and like tune it out. Because I'm just like, come on, it's not that serious. It's not that serious. You don't have to open your mouth that much to eat. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Or my biggest pet peeve is buying food and it not tasting good. It's the worst feeling.
Yeah.
So I put money in this food and it doesn't taste good. Like, you're slapping me in the face now.
Yeah.
Like, I just come on.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Fill in the blank. A good performance consists of?
Well, vulnerability.
Nice. Wicked.
And not trying to be the star.
Okay.
Being submissive vulnerability. That sounds really bad. That sounds really bad. No, openness to, collaboration.
Yeah.
Yeah, going there, connecting.
No, I'm keeping submissive vulnerability.
Submissive vulnerability.
Other than collaborating. Hey, I'd love to submissive.
Yeah. Can I be vulnerable submissively sometime?
It's amazing.
It's the worst two word choices in a world of empowerment.
I love it. We're keeping it. It stays.
Yeah. All right.
Collaboration and vulnerability. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And what is a piece of advice that you would give to your younger self or someone just starting out in their creative journey?
Get to know yourself. Take time to get to know yourself. Find out what you like to do and just find out why you like it and try to see how you can do it more often.
Wicked.
Just get to know yourself, yeah. Because I didn't do that growing up. But you did it now, and now we're figuring it out.
You get it done eventually.
And you change, and don't think anything's in stone. Like, hey, just because you choose this career, but doesn't mean it's going to stay like that. Chances are you're going to be way ahead, way far away. You're going to change 7 times, but just go for it.
Wicked.
Believe in yourself.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Absolutely my pleasure. It was a great conversation. So thank you so much for doing the podcast.
Anytime. Call me back.
Wicked. Thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope you related to the stories and I hope you learned something, took away something from this episode. I definitely did. If you like this episode, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. We're creative full-time on YouTube, Spotify, all social medias. And if you'd like to donate to keep this podcast going, there's a place on my website, AllisonMullings.com, where you can donate so that our podcast keeps going, keeps getting better, all that good stuff. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next interview.